From January until March 21 to 30, we peaked at 1,290. Take note, it was during this time when we took away the swab upon arrival protocol. From then on, it has been a steady decline when, by March 31st, we re-implemented the swab upon arrival. And so with all due respect again, to the claim of Secretary Galvez, that OFWs and ROFs are now making this a jump-off point and that they would rather prefer to come to Cebu because it's just a swab upon arrival, and then when found negative, they are released on the third day. May I just, as a suggestion, to ease this impasse, for after all, the provincial board ordinance applies to Cebuanos. That Cebuanos that arrive are tested and are found negative on the third day shall be released to home quarantine that qualify or to designated isolation centers. May I just also respectfully inform the good secretary that we have over 2,400 beds for isolation occupants. Practically all of our towns have well-constructed, clean, hygienic isolation centers that can be designated as quarantine facilities. This is, after all, the #1 province in the entire country. Our towns can afford it, our cities can afford it, the province can afford it. But this shall apply for Cebuanos. And to allay your fears that people from other provinces will now choose to come to Cebu, then we can continue with the 10-day quarantine in a designated hotel for non-Cebuanos. For after all, why must we keep Cebuanos in hotels? Sure, the OWA pays for OFWs, but that's charged against the Bayanihan funds. That's not charged against OWA funds. That's still taxpayers' money. On the other hand, the ROFs will have to pay. I had thanked the President that he would try to look for funds to ease the 10-day stay in the hotel, which can cost anywhere from 25,000 to 30,000 to 50,000, depending upon the hotel. Because the ROFs have to pay standard rates. They are already in Cebu. Our mayors are well equipped to handle them, including our barangay captains. As you have repeatedly said, you admire the best practices of Cebu. Then please allow us to do this for the Cebuanos. Let this be a compromise. The Provincial Ordinance number 4-2021, which has adopted Executive Order number 17, will apply only to Cebuanos. For the rest of those that take the Cebu route and are non-Cebuanos that need to go home to their respective provinces, we will gladly accommodate them here in our hotels, where room capacity has now expanded from 2,500 initially to possibly 3,800, or the expected final number might be 5,000. That allows us to accommodate 5,000 OFWs and ROFs for 10 days. With arrivals now still limited at 300, we would only need 3,000 rooms. We hope, though, that arrivals will be further increased. That is our request. With all due respect, please, I speak not as a doctor, I certainly am not. Not as a scientist, I certainly am not. But I speak with a deep sense of duty as an elected official, as our vice governor and board members, congressmen and mayors as well are elected officials accountable to the people who elected us. We must, in accordance with Section 17, otherwise known as the General Welfare Act, Welfare Clause, must uphold the general welfare of our people and our constituents. Allow us to take this responsibility into our hands. For we cannot govern with what-ifs. We cannot possibly hope to achieve the welfare of our constituents when it's based on models and possibilities and assumptions. What is real is, in spite of the UK variant, in spite of the P.3 variant, otherwise erroneously identified as the Central Visayas variant. In spite of all of these other variants, Cebu province continues to be on MGCQ status. We are nearing a year now, and we should even now be granted low risk. So give us this responsibility. We have taken it upon our hands. So have our congressmen. So have our vice governor and the provincial board and our mayors. We have been able to handle the very first few months where we knew nothing of this virus. We continue to handle it. We continue to manage it now that we know so much more. Honorable Secretaries and our esteemed technical advisors, I am now on my 4th term as Governor of Cebu. In 2004, the Cebuanos did what had never been done before in its 400-year history, and that was to elect its first woman governor ever in this, the oldest province in the entire country. And on that first day, July 1st of 2004, the first thing that I did was to climb to the top of the Capitol. Why? Because I wanted to see on eye level words that were etched on the facade of the dome. These were words that I always looked up to. This time, I wanted to read on eye level so that my heart could fully assimilate the meaning of these words. And these words are, the authority of government emanates from the people. The authority that we possess comes from the people. Whether you be legislators or chief executives, whether you be congressmen, board members, mayors, or even governor, whatever authority that we exercise came from the people who elected us and trusted us to look after their welfare. And that is our sacred responsibility contained in our oath to serve well and to serve faithfully. And so, from the bottom of my heart, I speak and beseech the Iatf. I speak to our humanity. Allow us to be responsible for the people who gave us this authority. Allow us to be able to face them and say, we are accountable to you. We will serve you with our utmost best. Mabuhay ang Cebu. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.